So I says, yo, haha, it's all in the words.
I came on here some years ago, and like my main objective was I wanted to be a nudist, and then and then I wanted to explore, and that was about as far as I got, as far as my desires went. Oop, let me take my AO off. And so the first task was to look right as far as, being undressed. And I went to a few beaches because I had to start from scratch, like finding places. And when I found some beaches, I started asking around about where people go, popular beaches and nude beaches. And then I got some landmarks, found some nude beaches. Then I had to ask around to find out, who had decent looking genitals. And so that was a whole task and a half. People,
Yeah.
not everybody wanted to be helpful, but
Mhm.
I had to, I had to stick to my plan and my agenda, no matter what people were saying. And I finally got, I don't know, I went shopping, ended up buying a bunch, testing them out, and then I ended up going to sex sims and actually looking at men parts. And whenever I found the ones that I was interested in putting on my avatar, I had to go through the whole getting into somebody's box and asking a dude like, "All right, where'd you get your junk from?" And after a few suggestions, I finally found the kind that I liked. But once I went through all that, it was the adventure that I enjoyed the most. So I ended up meeting a young lady that told me I needed to do something about my avatar because I was still on noob status. And this is way before Mesh, but I still had my noob walk. I bought clothes. So my clothes was legit, but that walk and that lean, that noob lean was like telling everybody, yeah, this motherfucker ain't, you knew. And so she got me hooked up with a skin and a shape, and she only got so far with it. And then I ended up meeting somebody else that really got me fixed up with the avatar that I kept for years. until the mesh came out. But it was the adventure, and it allowed me to explore, and that opened up a whole nother chapter. I'm usually AFK because, as far as my real life go, I have so many hobbies to juggle. I I have 6 YouTube channels, and I'm
Okay.
constantly working on content. I have a gaming channel. I have a poetry channel. I have a
Ooh.
DJ channel. I have a channel that I discuss growth on individual growth, community growth, society. I have a channel that I focus on beautiful women, gorgeous women. My idea of what beauty is, at least. What I do is take pictures and videos of women, and I turn them into videos, slideshows, videos, whatever. Okay, my 6th channel is like my oldest channel, and has a lot of my old gaming, old videos, like music videos that I had made
Mhm.
from Second Life photography and mixed with some real life. And I haven't been doing much on that. Um, I like being organized. So once I start doing one thing, it branches off into the organizing part. Like, let's say when I'm looking for music, I download the music. Once I download the music, I need to edit the the title. Like take the words copyright off, words lyrics or audio, things like that. Um, and then I need to put the video in correct folder, like if it's hip hop or if it's club music or and then like pictures. Pictures, oh man, I have different playlists, different categories. So I got to put for each individual person, I had to categorize their pictures in a way, that I can make a playlist from. And then when I see one person, I end up seeing somebody else, and I'm like, shit, I need to get their content too. So it spirals into a whole rabbit hole. And now I'm sitting over 500 females that I can create content from, and I keep adding more and more. Same thing with the music. I just keep adding more and more music. Gaming. I haven't been doing much gaming, but I have some old game footage that I still upload. So yeah, during the day, during the night, when I'm not sleeping, eating shit, chilling with family, that's what I do. Other than sending spam, I do just like to check on folks. Yeah, a simple hello, how are you? You never know what that turns into kind of conversation.
Yeah.
But I know what it's like to be on somebody's friend list, but yet they never check in. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that to anyone on my friend list. I'll be wanting to cut people though, because throughout the years, I will send people. I would check on them like 2, 3, 4 months straight, and they'll never respond. And it'll let me know like if somebody's offline. So I have folks who are offline that still get the messages and they'll come online just to respond. So I'm like, if they can do it, what's stopping other people? I'm trying to
Absolutely.
understand what the busy status will do. I understand that a teleport won't get through to them. But I keep forgetting whether if I send them an instant message or a note card, if that'll get through to them or not. I keep forgetting. I don't know. But regardless, it's one of those things where it triggers me to where I'm like, yeah, I am keeping in contact, but you on some other shit, or they are on some other
Yeah.
shit, and I don't like that. That's why in real life I don't fuck with nobody. I too was a medical assistant at a delivery clinic. My first wife had when I met her, she was already in that field, and so she just trained me to assist her. And then she did the weighing part, after delivery stuff. She did that. Um, but I did all the other workup, you know, for the visits, and I also did the you call it Lamaze classes,
Oh yeah.
and then for like regular visits, I worked with kids and I worked with parents. I've had a lot of jobs on here, and that's what I spent my first maybe 5, 6, 7 years. That's what I spent doing. Was just I was second life day and night. Um, of course, I lived my life and I had my days off, but yeah, I explored different jobs. Um, I got into building, a little bit of scripting, as far as like door hinges, that type stuff, getting the door to open and close by touch. But that lost me. I was so lost on that part. Landscaping was fun. Photography was fun. Um, I've been doing poetry for the longest. The masseuse job was fun. Um, I owned properties that opened up to the public for nudity and sex. So I spent a lot of time shopping on Marketplace and on the grid. So all that shit was fun. You know, the thing about exploring was going to different sex sims to see what type of stuff they were using. That way I could put it on my property. You know, the popular stuff. You know, if I seen a lot of people using it, then that's what I would call popular. Or if different people's using different variations on different sims, then I would be like, okay, like that cross and submission domination stuff. I was like, okay, okay, okay. Now I ended up buying like 5, 6, 7, like I think 6, 7 different massage tables because one table would have two two out of the, like, let's say they came with 10 animations and I would only like 2, so I had to go buy a different table. You know what I mean? And then I had to switch back and forth between PG and regular, and it's like knowing that I was going to hint to having sex, turning somebody on enough to where we could lead into sex. It was one of those things of, okay, so I'm going down my friends list. Who is down to fuck? So that was the whole adventure. But when it wasn't about that, I still used the adult tables because they had more options. So getting into those other poses, I did a lot of apologizing, like, oops, oops. I'm still celibate now. Still wanting to be single now. Um, for the most part, I keep, you know, saying this because I live with my family, but no, it's more or less where my state of mind is, where my emotions of it all is. I got into a point where I don't want to jeopardize my happiness. And where there's sex, there's usually conversation. So I'm selfish and I don't want all of it. So it's best that I don't dibble or dabble with any of it. And I don't want to be hurt either. You know, hurting somebody else is hurting me. When you hurt somebody unintentionally, it's like that wasn't supposed to happen. I was like, I'm being very careful with you. And you telling me I still ended up doing something that you don't like? I hate it when someone would say, you made me mad. And other different ways of saying that I made them something. And I get mad because I'm like, I can't make you do shit. All you can do is stay brown and die. That's all you have to do. Otherwise, you have choices. And if I ever got close to something that you needed to keep in check, it would be your fault that it got unchecked. And you allowed me to be unchecked about something or whatever, but I didn't make you do a damn thing. I hated that. I hated it. And that comes from growth, learning that I couldn't say that to anybody else because, you know, the whole thing of when you point the finger, you got 3 pointing back plus a thumb. in a lot of ways, I don't seem to be 50. I don't look 50, and I don't have a f a fucked up attitude like some grumpy, set in their ways type people are. I'm always gonna be a free bird. I'm always gonna be a social butterfly slash hermit, and I'm always gonna welcome growth. So that helps me grow gracefully type shit. Once I had my son, even before I had my son, I was I didn't want to bring any kids into this world unless I was financially stable and emotionally stable, and I needed a woman that was my equal. And even when I found her, we were both going to have to be in the best position to raise a kid. All the parent planning, all that shit had to be legit because we were not going to have any excuses, for raising a child properly. I know that
Right.
I know that we're born with three traits. We got traits from our mother, traits from our fathers, and then we're born with our own personal traits. And that trinity has to be able to thread together in order to complete a person. And so my idea behind it is, or my thoughts behind that is, if a kid don't have their parents in their life enough to where they know their parents, you know, enough to be like, okay, I got that from either one of them, then a person is going to be missing out on some things that would help them with their identification. And no matter how much they work on themselves, they can go a long way. But I think they're going to be missing some things. And I'm not going to say that they're damned. You know what I mean? But I think it would help. It's like I was raised by my mother, so I was able to see her actions on things. To where with my pops, I could only imagine that I got some things from him. And then whenever I did spend time with him, I had been able to pick up on enough to say, okay, I understand why I do some of the things that I do. You know what I mean? Mental health is important, people, more than
Mhm.
they would ever think. And so people like us do a great service to the public, to our community. But it's sad that folks will not engage, folks will not research into, you know, this 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 thing that we do enough to want to engage. It's like if I had known it was out there, I think it would have helped me out a lot. Whenever I'm disabled in real life, I'm a quadriplegic, and I've been disabled since I was 21. And I think I got disabled because I was moving them too fast. You know, there's a lot of moments where I'm like, why the fuck Did the universe do this to me? You know what I mean? The frame of mind that I have now came from back then, came from when I was a kid, looking for love in all the wrong people. Growth. But even after my disability, I still got married and I was still fucking and I was still living. I mean, and even now, even though my dick ain't working, I can still pleasure a woman. Um, and I'm into toys. So, if I got to put a dildo in my mouth so she can just sit on it, and I can use my hands to, for physical touch, I'm down for trying it. Um, I've had females on my dining room table while I was in my chair, had them spread eagle, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So my disability didn't stop me. It's just my state of mind. So being celibate came from a mental choice. The whole teasing aspect is gone. It can come back. It's kind of like a talent. You know what I mean? It's like once you get good at it, it don't really go anywhere. You just suppress it. You know what I mean? But